Hey everyone, Kevin Handlin here. I go by Skyburial on Twitter and also here on YouTube. And you're watching my VGC laddering series, Spire to the Sky, which we play on Battlespot on Pokemon Sun. And, yeah, I just kind of wanted to play some battles with trees. It's been a damn good day. And I'm about to head out and hit the bars. And, yeah, I wanted to play some games. It's been fun. We've been hacking out some opponents. So, yeah. My opponent also understands the Buzzwole hype. This is great. I'm not worried about the Pissimian. What does concern me is that Crobat. This looks like a pretty solid Double Ducks lead matchup, and I think that I will do it. The only thing that I could foresee going wrong is if they put their Ninetales in the back. I will bring my Tapu Koko and my Buzzwole. I think that that probably is the best option, just because Crobat does get access to Taunt, and if Trevenant gets taunted, then that would be a bad time for me. Marowak may be a better option, actually. Maybe a better option than Buzzwole. Yeah, I think I'll go with Marowak in this instance, actually. I think it looks really good against everything on this team, so, except the Melodic. But I can manage the Melodic with my Tapu Koko if my opponent does decide to bring it. So, yeah. Yeah, that's what I got. Cool, so if my opponent doesn't lead with Ninetales, then I probably shouldn't use my Water Z. And my opponent does not lead with Ninetales. So, instinctively, what I think I will do here is I think I want to Tailwind and switch in my Marowak. You know what I could do? I could switch in my Marowak, and I think I just kind of want to go for it and see if my opponent lets me. So I will Hydro Vortex the Crobat. I think that Crobat stays in to... Okay, so my opponent just goes for a hard switch, probably into Ninetales. Yeah. And so that's going to reduce the damage of my... That's going to reduce the damage of my Hydro Vortex, and Crobat will probably be able to live it outside of the rain. So, and then my opponent's going to get Tailwind up, which does kind of suck. However, knowing that Marowak is such a valuable resource in this matchup, I should be okay. And that's why I accepted... Like, I thought my opponent might Volt Switch into Ninetales. Oh, do I get the KO? Still gets the KO. That's okay. You know, I'm gonna take that 100% of the time. Yeah, so we'll take a little bit of hail damage here, and honestly, like, that was kind of an amazing turn. So, this next turn, what I can do... My opponent brings their Tapu Koko back in. I think that I will Shadow Bone the Tapu Koko, and I will... Did my opponent have any normal types? No. So I can just Shadow Bone the Tapu Koko and switch in my Pelipper, and that sounds great. I think that my opponent probably protects their Ninetales. But maybe not. Maybe it's just going to be like a Blizzard Dazzling Gleam, which would definitely take down my Pelipper. Yeah, it looks like it might just be one of these Blizzard Dazzling Gleam situations. Mirror move. Oh, but Pelipper avoids. Alright, cool. Well, that worked. Don't freeze my Marowak. Alright, cool. So we're going to get a Shadow Bone off on this Tapu Koko. And that should KO. Barely misses it. So I think on this next turn I will Flare Blitz the Ninetales. And... No. I think I will Shadow Bone the Ninetales, and I will... I really want to trap the Ninetales in. So I'm going to Shadow Bone the Tapu Koko and switch in my Golduck. This will preserve Pelipper in the event that my opponent decides to get wise about the Weather War. And, nope, my opponent just goes for another Blizzard. Alright, cool. So, yup. So we're gonna lock my opponent in without their weather. And we get to do the Shadow Bone on the Ninetales. That is perfect. Oh my gosh, and it's not even a Sash Ninetales, which is really interesting. So now I have the fastest thing on the field guaranteed with my Golduck, and my opponent brought their young Pissimian. So YOLO? I think I'll just Hydro Pump and Shadow Bone again. I think that's a pretty solid line of play. Alright, Hydro Pump connects. It's not a Storm Drain Pissimian. And we KO my opponent's Pissimian. Alright, cool. So, pretty solid game on my end. Mirror move Tapu Koko, huh? Interesting. Also, something to note is that Blizzard missed significantly less times than I thought it would. So, and Marowak can take 4 Blizzards out of the hail. The more you know. Cool. So we'll go ahead and take another battle here. Sweet. So this is right about where I was before I decided to bring the team that I'm using at my Premier Challenge tomorrow onto the ladder, which was an awful idea. So, this is a team that I'm going to bring my Trevenant against 100%. Actually, this looks like a solid Trev Koko matchup. And then I think I will put... I would feel bad about not bringing Pelipper, actually. I think that I will... I'm thinking of leading Double Ghost. And then putting Pelipper and Buzzwole in the back. But then again, my opponent has Tapu Fini. This is a tough one. Gosh. Tapu Fini Gigalith is really good. It's awesome at beating, like, the Lele Blim teams. I know that I want to lead with Trevenant. I think that since I will have Marowak in the back, I'll go ahead and lead with Trevenant and Pelipper, and I'll have Buzzwole in the back as well. I don't want to bring Pelipper and Tapu Koko, is the problem, because then I'll have 2 fast Pokemon in a Trick Room matchup, which sounds less than ideal. So, yeah. Yeah. Cool. So, the secret's out about Trevenant. A lot of people are going to know what it does, and then other people don't watch streams. So, we will see how this one plays out. Honestly, we already took a win today, so not feeling bad how this one pans out either way. Alright, and my opponent does just lead with Porygon 2 and Gigalith. So I think that what I will do on this turn is... I think I will... try to burn the Gigalith, and I will switch in my Buzzwole. I could have Leech Seeded the Porygon too as well. That would have been an okay line of play, because Gigalith might go for Protect here and wait until Trick Room turns to start doing stuff. That's something that they often do. And if that happens, then I'll have a Buzzwole in to hit it with a Hammer Arm. Buzzwole can take a Continental Crush, followed by a Flare Blitz in the rain. So, it's kind of a nasty Pokemon. Alright, my opponent actually withdraws Gigalith into Garchomp. Oh my gosh, if I connect with this Will-O-Wisp, it's going to be so perfect. Do not freeze. Alright, it doesn't freeze. Does Will-O-Wisp connect? It does. It's a good day, folks. It's a real good day. So, if I was a gambling man, and I'm not, I would say that, what a good Pokemon. I would say that my opponent probably switches Arcanine into the Porygon 2 slot, and goes for like a Swords Dance. I think that what I will do, regardless of how this turn pans out, is I will Leech Seed my Porygon 2 and switch Pelipper back in. Because that burned Garchomp is of no concern to me at this point. My opponent's going to be playing for a Trick Room endgame now, and I can take that away, and... oh, nice. Alright, cool. So that did negative damage, and we get a Leech Seed off against this Porygon 2, and it looks like Porygon 2 is going for Trick Room. So, this is going to be an okay day. This is going to be okay. I think that I will predict... well, I have to predict Gigalith to switch into a slot. So, what do I think Gigalith will switch into? I think that regardless, what I'm going to do is Leech Seed the Garchomp and switch my Pelipper back out into... I could take Trick Room away. I could do that. Like, I could go for, like, maybe, like, a Trick Room and a switch into my Buzzwole. That seems okay. Yeah. I think that's the better play. Yup. So Gigalith comes in, and we're going to have an unthreatened Buzzwole. Yup. This is nice. This is really nice. Cool, so we take the Trick Room away, and we should be able to proc Berry after Sand, so that Fire Fang actually did quite a bit of damage, but definitely not enough to the point where I feel remotely threatened. And we keep getting these harvests. That's amazing. Alright, so I think I will Leech Seed here. And I'm tempted to just go for an Earthquake, because it'll do good damage against whatever my opponent decides to switch in here. I do not think that my opponent is going to... Alright, so there are a few different situations here, right? Garchomp stays in that case I should Ice Punch it, because it'll... oh. Did I disconnect? darn. I think I will Ice Punch the Garchomp. Alright guys, so I wanted to give you one more battle. So I'm about to head to this Premier Challenge, but you know, it left a bad taste in my mouth to just have like a battle and a half in an episode. So we're gonna hop into another one. We're gonna match up pretty quick, and it looks like my opponent has a Braviary, which is fine for me because I don't have an Intimidator on my team. This looks like a pretty solid Trevenant matchup to me. But it also looks like a good Ducks matchup, which is really interesting. Because my opponent has the Snorlax and the Kartana, I'm kind of reticent to bring both of my Ducks. However, Pelipper does look good. So I think I will lead with Trevenant and Pelipper, and I'll bring Marowak and Buzzwole in the back. It could be bad news for Trevenant if my opponent decides to Brave Bird outright. So what I might do actually is put Trevenant in the back and bring Tapu Koko. And then I can Thunder on turn 1. And then I can bring Trevenant, and I kind of want to bring Marowak. So, like, double Ghost. I think that adequately handles everything on this team. Alright, we'll go for it. Except, well, Buzzwole is really good against Garchomp, and I'll bring Buzzwole. Alright, cool. Barely got to lock in Buzzwole there. Alright, cool. So we will see how this one goes. I really have to lean on my Trevenant right now in order to handle the opponent's Tapu Koko. In a jam, I can Dazzling Gleam Brine to kill the Tapu Koko. So, that's looking like a good option. Alright, so my opponent leads with Arcanine and Kartana, which is ideal for me. I think that what I will do is I will Volt Switch. I'm thinking of Volt Switching the, okay, so there's a few things I can do. One thing I could do is Thunder the Arcanine and go for a Tailwind. And that'll just get rid of one of the biggest threats to my Buzzwole, if not the biggest threat to my Buzzwole, and set me up for a sweep. Alternatively, I can go for a Volt Switch on the Kartana and set up a Tailwind, which also sounds good. I can Thunder, well, I could Hurricane the Kartana. I think that what I do is I set up a Tailwind regardless. That's what I want to do with my Pelipper. And I think that I will Volt Switch the Kartana. Is it a double protect? No. My opponent's probably wild charging my, yeah, my Pelipper. Okay. So that was bad for me. But it means that next turn what I can do is I can Dazzling Gleam and Hurricane. And I think I want to do that. Yeah, I'm going to go for a Dazzling Gleam and a Hurricane. Luckily, I have Trevenant as well, so I don't have to rely on my... Okay, so Dazzling Gleam Hurricane's looking really good for me right now, actually. It should KO the Garchomp. And if my opponent switches in... Okay, my opponent brought Tapu Koko, so next turn I can just brine the Tapu Koko slot. Actually, this is perfect because this will allow me to really maximize the pressure that I can put on with my Buzzwole. So, I have Tailwind up, so I have the fastest things. And I could honestly just Hurricane and Dazzle again next turn. Alright, so what I imagine happening here is my opponent could switch in their Arcanine and extreme speed my Pelipper. Yeah. I think that he's gonna do that. So what I'm inclined to do is I will switch in my Trevenant to take the extreme speed, and I will Thunder the Arcanine. At this range, I haven't seen an Arcanine that can live a Thunder, so my opponent might be, my opponent might protect their Arcanine. Nope, just goes for the obvious extreme speed, but into Tapu Koko. That's interesting. Okay, so, alright, this is looking good. I can definitely bring this one back. Alright, cool, and we take out the Arcanine, so Imminent Buzzwole sweep is coming. And we will see what this Tapu Koko decides to do. Tapu Koko goes for a Thunderbolt onto my Trevenant. That should proc Berry. Nope, it doesn't even proc Berry. So, we're doing okay. I think that what I will do on this next turn is go for an Earthquake and set up Trick Room. Yeah, because this should be my last turn of Tailwind, so it's the perfect time for me to do this. And if my opponent decides to Dazzling Gleam, then his Koko goes down, and if my opponent decides to... No, this is my best line of play. This is absolutely my best line of play. Alright, yeah, and let me just make sure that I only have, one more turn of Tailwind left, 2 more turns of Rain, so perfect for me. I'll go for this Earthquake and the Trick Room. Okay, so we get to take out our opponent's Tapu Koko, so that's perfect. And that means that if my opponent does have Night Slash on Kartana and takes out my Trevenant, that I can just Hammer Arm the Kartana next turn. So, yep, looking great. Alright, so my opponent Smart Strikes my Buzzwole. That shouldn't do too much damage. And then we get to set up our Trick Room, so now we can just freely... I think I can even KO that, that Kartana with an Ice Punch at this point. So, I kind of want to go for that. Yeah. Yeah, I will Will-O-Wisp the Kartana, and I will go for an Ice Punch on it. Yup. Yes, this is one thing that this team does that I really like, is just like maintaining your Buzzwole sweep in the face of your speed control ending. So, yeah, that kind of all just went really flowy. So, we'll get this Will-O-Wisp off on the Kartana, and we're gonna get to Ice Punch it, and I think that should KO it. If not, I can just take it next turn. Alright, so it's a really bulky Kartana, but a burned Smart Strike is going to do even less to Buzzwole. Yeah. So, now we're... I mean, I could just wait. Honestly, like, I could, like... I don't know. I could win this with Trevenant. Honestly, like, I could just, like, Horn Leech, and, yeah. Anyway, we're just going to Ice Punch again. The reason I didn't go for Hammer Arm is because I didn't want it to miss. So, yeah. Ice Punch is more accurate. I'm honestly surprised my opponent hasn't forfeited yet, but I am proud of him for sticking it out. And, yeah, so, yeah. We get 2 wins and a disconnect on this episode. So, cool. Hope you guys enjoyed. My opponent disconnects. So, I think that was my opponent disconnecting. Yeah, that was my opponent disconnecting, because otherwise it wouldn't go to this screen. Cool. So we'll go ahead and cut to my outro from yesterday. But yeah, thanks for watching. Once again, I'm Kevin Handlin, and if you're new to the channel, please click on that subscribe button down there. Helps me a lot. And let me know what you guys are thinking of trees. Does it need something fresh? Does it need some freshening up? What does it lack? What are you liking? Are you a big fan of Buzzwole? I know I definitely am. And yeah, leave me some comments, guys. I love you. and thanks for watching.